Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Iowa 911 Communications Council meeting for Thursday, January 8th, 2026. I'm your chair, Robert Otter. Eric, could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Chris Collins. Jeff Miller. Or Jim Shawley.
Jim Shawley is here.
Thank you. Shane McSheehy. Mike Bryant.
Mike Bryant's here.
Eric Daw. Or Tom Berger.
Tom Berger's here.
Thank you. Lynn Tezioli.
Lynn is here.
Josh Duden.
Here.
Rob Dennert.
Here.
Adam Welk.
Here.
Tom Weevil.
All right, thank you. Could I please get a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th, 2025? All those motions. Actually, change what I just said. How about a motion to approve the agenda? I have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Again, same sign. And then could I get a motion to approve December 11th, 2025 minutes?
Lynn, motion to approve.
I have a second.
Welcome second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, same sign. Carries. Blake, do we have a report?
Let me get my slides going here. All right, kick things off. It is the month of January, so this is the month that we are in the process of receiving surcharge remittance from carriers, and later in the month we'll be doing quarterly payments out to 911 service boards. So nothing has changed from the standpoint that we're anticipating needing to invoice counties for shortfalls at the state level, similar to the first quarter of the fiscal year. For anyone who is still interested in pursuing a memorandum of understanding with our office, that allows us to withhold that invoiced amount on the front end. So it will be taken out of the payment instead of a process where we also submit invoice to the county and then us. If anyone is interested in pursuing that MOU, that is still an opportunity that's open. I think we ended up with around 36 counties that signed that MOU last quarter, and those are still in effect. So for those 36, we would just withhold the correct invoiced amount on the front end, so we don't have to go back and forth with paperwork and checks. So again, if that is of interest to anyone, just reach out to our office and happy to put that in place. Going back to the invoicing process from quarter one of the fiscal year, there are 3 outstanding checks still remaining from counties that are listed on the screen there. Have been in contact with all of them, and they are all in the process of getting remitted back to us. So hoping to have those prior to the subsequent quarters, quarterly payment process getting really kicked off. I've been providing updates on our Executive Order 10 process, specifically Chapter 10 of our admin rules, which govern 911 over the last couple months. The notice of intended action was in the December 24th bulletin. No changes from the regulatory analysis. So it is currently open for public comment. Those are due January 13th. And there's also public hearings, January 13th and 14th, to make public comment in person or by attending a public hearing. As a reminder, there are 3 phases of the rulemaking process. This is the second of the 3 phases. So continue if there are any recommended changes to get those to our office and we can consider those. With that, the last bullet there is an update on the data center move from Comtech. Bill Burnett, are you online and available?
Yes, Blake, I am. It doesn't look like I have the ability to share my
Do you
presentation.
need to share it?
If you would, that'd be great.
Yeah, just a second. That's going to take a little rearranging.
Thank you.
All right, you should be able to see it.
I do. Thanks, Blake. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to give a project status as this is getting, starting to fire up now that we've crossed the new year. Just want to talk initially this first slide about the overall goal for the next 6 months. So shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but again, just want to reiterate. So we're going to be adding the third data center, Raleigh, in the coming months. And once that has passed all testing, we have a series of performance benchmarks, et cetera, then we're going to add live traffic to the Raleigh data center. So at that point, there'll be 3 data centers taking live traffic, West Des Moines and Davenport, the legacy ones, and then the new data center, Raleigh. We're going to allow that to, that traffic to soak on all 3 until all testing, performance benchmarks, et cetera, are complete. Once the testing and performance benchmarks are satisfied, we will then move traffic off of West Des Moines. And at this point, all traffic will be on Raleigh and the Davenport data center. So that is expected to be completed by June 30th of this year. That's that first phase. I don't have on here, but then later we will be doing kind of the same process, later being late 2026, 2027. Where we'll be moving traffic off Davenport onto Council Bluffs data center. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the upcoming milestones for this first portion between now and June 30th. OSP testing. We're going to be starting that testing soon for the migrations of the major OSPs to the Raleigh data center. This does not include, the Iowa carriers and such, but AT&Ts, et cetera. And then another milestone, of course, is PSAP testing. So once we have a single circuit connected to end to end, we will begin testing with Zetron, both those Zetron hosted on the state hosted system and those that are individually with Zetron. So every single PSAP will be tested individually to ensure both voice and text traffic reaches your PSAP properly. So it'll be a very thorough 1-by-1 testing. Once Zetron is complete, we've worked out any kinks, then we will begin testing with other PSAP vendors. And again, every PSAP will be tested individually to ensure both voice and text reaches your PSAP properly. Then later on, in the coming months, PSAP migration. So that'll be, again, an individual 1-by-1 migrating to the traffic to the new Raleigh data center. And will begin after all circuits are in place, tested for failover, redundancy, circuit performance benchmarks, et cetera. And there again, we'll start with PSAP migrations with Zetron. Once that's complete, then we will work with each of the other CHE vendors and their associated PSAPs to migrate over. So we are having some delays with circuit vendor install dates. And as a result of those circuit installation delays, we decided to migrate text at the same time we migrated voice. So you may remember last September, again in December, I sent out, hey, here's some IP changes that we need to make for voice. And what we need is every CHE vendor, every PSAP to allow these new IPs and ports into their firewall so that any new calls will go through. They won't be rejected by your CHE vendor firewalls. Well, the original plan was to do these migrations separately. We are going to be, this is all new equipment, all upgraded equipment. So, and that includes the text TCCs. And as a result of that, we have to have new IPs as well for text. So what I'm going to be doing, well, is we're going to be asking, like we did with voice, we'll be asking your CHE vendors to add text IPs to their firewall. If you're on the Zetron hosted system, no action needed. This is going to be taken care of for you by Zetron. I will be sending emails out today, tomorrow to the other CHE vendors. I'm going to try to get a little more personalized than I did prior with the voice. I did kind of a big blastogram. I'm going to try to target more the CHE vendors and, like, for example, Viper and all PSAPs that have Vipers. I'm going to be directing it to the actual CHE contacts, providing clear instruction. I will CC all the primary contacts for each PSAP that are on those vendors. And I have a list of, the additional vendors down below here on that bullet point. And as a PSAP, if you see that I'm not potentially reaching out to the right contact for that CHE vendor, please let me know. I want to make sure I get to that right person. And again, those emails from me will be going out today and tomorrow. But also at the bottom here, I just have a note. I previously with the voice IPs, I received a couple emails and phone calls with concerns from PSAP saying, hey, we're concerned that we're not going to get these done and da 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 da. So just so you know, we're not going to be migrating any PSAP, putting you at risk if this is not done. So if your CHE vendors having a hard time, that's part of what the testing we're going to be doing with your vendors is for, is to ensure that they've done this right, and among many other things. But not to worry. It is beneficial if they input these IPs in their firewall before testing. It'll just make things smoother, more efficient. It will delay a little bit if they don't do that. But if they fail to, not to worry. We will be able to test at that time. If it's not input at all, or if it was fat fingered or whatnot, we'll be able to work with your vendor to make sure that gets done. Next slide, please. All right, so big question, when is this going to happen? So as a result of some of the delays in circuit installations, we are currently reevaluating the prior dates that we had for individual PSAP testing and then ultimately migrations to the new Raleigh data center. So I hope to have estimated dates for PSAP testing, which is the first part, of course, next week available. And again, Zetron will be the first one to go. That will take, the lion's share of the time, 80, 83, I think, total PSAPs there. And then we'll be, based on that, the nice thing is with Zetron, we'll be working out potentially any kinks that might come up. That testing effort and the length of it is really dependent on how the testing itself goes, right? If everything goes smooth, it'll take X amount of time. If we run into issues, it's hard to project that, those corrections. So once the Zetron testing is done, then we will look to schedule with each CHE vendor to test. The PSAP migration dates will be provided at a later time. Again, that's dependent on how long testing takes, any things we might run across. Hard to project, right? How long that will take. I just wanted to state, I guess, that we are aware and we want to be respectful and cognizant of your CHE vendors. We're going to provide them adequate notice so they can secure resources for testing. So we're not going to be surprising anybody, but at this point, those two big milestones and when we're going to be requesting CHE vendors, it's a little hard to anticipate. So that's to come soon. That's my update. Are there any questions for me? Okay, thank you, Blake.
Thank you. Flip back to the other slides.
All right.
Just been providing updates on where we're at with annual forms over the last number of months. You can see much better than last month, down to teens and low double digits. If you're listed up there, please get your forms in. As a reminder, the expenditure collection form, January 1st was the administrative deadline. So for those 12, the legal deadline is in March before we have to start withholding surcharge funds. So please get those in so we don't have to do that. Update on GIS grants. Those payments are going out this week. We continue to be very successful in meeting those benchmarks as a state. All the counties met the benchmarks for all 3 months of the quarter. So for the second quarter in a row, we're at 100% accuracy. I'm sorry, 100% of the counties have met the accuracy requirements, and we have paid $321,000 in GIS grants. You have one training fund application for approval today that's later in the agenda, a request from Cerro Gordo County for $13,400. It is 3 separate courses over the course of 3 different days, delivered by American Emergency Preparedness. If you do choose to approve that, there is $20,500 remaining in the fund. And I'll just note that APCO and NENA Spring Conference is earmarked for 10,000 of that. So not sure, I haven't seen those applications yet or know if they'll be requesting the full $5,000 for the Spring Conference. So there might be a little bit more than that 10,500 remaining, but just wanting to make sure everyone is aware that that fund has been used very well this year. So that is the amount that will be remaining if you do approve this training this month. That concludes my briefing. Are there any questions for me before I turn it over to Lynn with Zetron? Hearing none. Lynn, if you're available, please go ahead. We can barely hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's getting better.
Is that good enough?
We can't hear you in the room. I don't know if anyone online can hear you any better, but we can.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead with the slide. I'm not sure what that, but pretty much everything Bill said about the context update. I'll speak as loudly as I can. Just a reminder that no one needs to be touched with Zetron or Raycom if they're using Max call taking. This includes the 3 that are working directly with Raycom. We've covered. I mentioned earlier, Maureen Carlson is scheduling a user group in April to send out more information that was topics. And last week, an update that by the end of January, we were going to create with different AI solutions for 911 subwork. You can drop it up. Good security and AI interfaces against line. No changes to the state map. Just a reminder, the online portal is available to everyone. Not too much anything season. If you're interested about it, I think that's it for me, and I apologize for the information.
And I think it's a good thing your slides were fairly self-explanatory. I think we got the general gist, but if there's any questions for Lynn or Zetron or shared services, I would probably say ask those questions directly offline. Any other questions for me before I turn it back over? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. As mentioned, we have training fund requests from Cerro Gordo County for American Emergency Preparedness in the amount of $13,400. Those classes are training are what if it was your family, it's okay to laugh, and tactical dispatching. Is there anyone from Cerro Gordo County that wishes to speak on this?
Heather Hahn, I'm online if anybody has questions, but it's pretty self-explanatory. We had these people here last year and it was really well received. We really liked his training and had a lot of good comments about it. So asked him back for 3 days, trying to hit 3 different aspects each day or 1 different aspect each day. So we have dispatcher health, actual dispatching for tactical type situations, and then a customer service, what if it was family? So trying to hit 3 different things.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain one presents a motion to approve.
Dennert will make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Again, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, do we have any technical advisories? Hearing none, can I have an update on Iowa statewide interoperable communication system board, Ms. Nichols?
Hey, thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, everybody. I just have 2 short announcements. Everything seems to be going well. January, I am making an effort to promote ISIC's minimum programming requirements at the interoperable committee meetings I attend, including the RICS and the Communication Supervisor Group meeting and any other meetings that they would like that on the agenda. The purpose of programming to minimum standards is so that subscriber equipment will have the needed resources when responding to any emergent or planned interoperable event in Iowa for those ISICS users. I do have an update on IMED, or the REM CDP grant. Funds have been released. I think I mentioned that last meeting. Since the February pause, the grant team has reconvened, and we have Mark Miller back, and we're working diligently to complete this project by our new deadline, which is March 28th, 2026. I'm going to keep saying that to everyone because that's our new deadline after a 6-month extension. The project is meant to increase rural emergency communications, and the scope of the project is Region 1. So if anybody has any questions, just reach out to me. That's all I have today.
Any questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to an update from U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, Mr. Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everybody. A couple of things to start off with today. One is a cybersecurity advisory that involves Russian hacktivists. And this is one of those things now where there are times where nefarious actors will try to gain access to our system to steal information. In this case, they are trying to gain notoriety. Multiple domestic and international agencies have found that pro-Russia groups are conducting attacks, albeit less sophisticated and low impact, but they are still trying to get into systems using basically the lowest hanging fruit we can find. Their goal is to try to gain access to a system so that they can then claim that they have infiltrated whomever. This is something where it could be relatively embarrassing for an agency if they were to gain access to a system. So since they're going to publicize that they got into all these systems, we want to make sure that agencies are able to kind of plug any holes they may try to squeeze into. The big thing here is to reduce the exposure of your operational technology assets to the public-facing internet. This is one of those things, sensors, anything else that could be used as a stepping stone that does allow them a pathway to get in. Make sure you've got an asset management process so you don't forget about old legacy equipment that may need to be updated or swapped out. Then, of course, make sure that all your assets are using robust authentication procedures such as multi-factor authentication. The big thing here is that we just don't want any of our stakeholders to end up on the front page of some sort of publication saying that they granted access to Russian hackers. Next slide is a non-comms related thing, but something that may be beneficial to some of your tangential agencies. For those of you that are part of a city, county, or other type of organization that does water or wastewater purification, distribution, things like that, we are hosting a Region 7 water and wastewater protective and cybersecurity webinar coming up on the 27th of January. There's no fee to attend, but the goal here is to help agencies understand various types of risk and develop better and more enhanced resiliency processes. There will be a presentation on PACE for primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency planning as well. Registration is limited to 1,000 participants though. So if you have someone within your structure that might be interested in this, please pass this information on to them and let them know that there's still room for them to sign up. final slide for the day is some regional news of note. The big thing here is technical assistance. We have various activities that are starting to fire up. Iowa's requests specifically have been submitted and are being reviewed. We had a meeting on them yesterday, and hopefully we'll have some clarification on where those go within the next week or so. We have delivered a tri-state communications tabletop in December. And then, of course, we have some other projects going on throughout the region that may be of interest to the group here. And that is my report for the day, Mr. Chair. I can go ahead and take any questions.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to legislative issues. I understand that someone from APCO, Nina, will be here to talk about 911 surcharge legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I want to introduce Nick Lanning. He's our lobbyist. I believe he's online, but I just want to share that as we ramp up for the 2026 legislative session, I'm just pleased to share that we've already created educational documents to share with the local legislators and the 911 community and community as a whole. And I'm also proud to share that we've had 9 statewide associations backing our public safety coalition initiative with this surcharge increase. And Nick, are you online with us?
Yep. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me in the room there, Chris?
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Morning, everybody. Thanks for having me on today. I'm just going to provide a quick update. So yeah, we've pulled together a public safety group coalition backing a surcharge proposal of an increase from $1 to $1.15. And then with automatic 2% increases administered by rule there forward. It also removes the language from the standings bill last year, as well as adjust the formula for 2 years to help with the upgrades and data migration that we just were hearing about for HSEMD for 2 years. So the groups supporting that, many of you are members of that. Thank you that are supporting that. So it's APCO, NENA, professional firefighters, volunteer firefighters, League of Cities, ISSDA, the Chiefs, ISTAC, Emergency Management, and a couple others. So it's a large group that is pushing this. We have bills in drafting on both sides of the legislature. I checked yesterday. We do not have language back yet, but those will be discussions at the legislature. And there's been positive feedback on it so far. Yes, there is the dissentiment of it's a fee increase, but after the standings provision and the line item veto campaign last year, a lot of lawmakers have a sentiment to want to get something done on this. So we're hopeful, but I'm still saying in a year where we're dealing with a huge budget shortfall, property tax reform, and an eminent domain fight still, we'll see how much oxygen there is at the State House. The other piece I want to flag, we do continue to hear that there will be some discussions on 911 consolidation. What we've largely heard is in-county consolidation. Polk and Lynn are being thrown around as examples where you have more PSAPs of doing in-county consolidation. The feasibility of this, we've pushed back on it with some lawmakers, as well as the cost. It's yet to be seen what is going to actually come forward in language, but it could overall be tied to the property tax reform discussion. So just want to flag those for people that these are issues that this community is going to be dealing with this legislative session, and to be ready to engage and reach out to your lawmakers and educate lawmakers on the impacts of the good with the surcharge increase, and then also possibly the bad in the consolidation discussions. Happy to take any questions or provide any other information.
I do want to add in there, Nick, that if you want to see a copy of this one pager, it is available on the Iowa APCO NENA webpage under legislative updates.
All right, thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be on for a little bit yet if questions come up.
Okay, very good. Any other legislative issues? Okay, any information sharing by council members? Do I have any business from the four people joining us virtually? Any business from the floor of the people in this room? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
No second.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.